Hello, everybody. I was analyzing some athlete videos. I did one on some figure skaters, but it got flagged for copyright, so I wasn't able to do that. So I don't know if this organization will flag. Some organizations will flag you, some won't. So I'll try this one. But this was the World Rhythmic Gymnastics competition, and it was interesting. What I found really interesting about it is that, these young ladies are operating at such a high level that it's very difficult to pick out um, flaws related to internal mental, psychosocial types of issues because that's something that they work on with their coaches, and they have the support necessary to weed out those types of things. But there are some times when you can spot some issues. Now, I'm really winging this, but I like to make an attempt to identify the things that I'm seeing. It would be wonderful if I could speak with these young ladies to, just kind of corroborate what I'm seeing with what they're experiencing. A lot of times in my inner being readings, what I'm picking up from my clients is usually very accurate, and my clients will say, yeah, that's spot on. So it would be wonderful for me. I have not worked with high-level athletes such as these young ladies, so it's difficult for me to really say whether I'm pinpointing the issue, or that the issue could either be something, it could be historical, or it could be something that they're dealing with in the present moment, like an issue that happened backstage, or an issue that they had very recently, and it's not necessarily something that they have a long-term issue with, but it's evident in the performance. And so if I were to work with a high-level athlete at an event, that's probably the best place in this circumstance to work with them, to get them to remove just acute blocks that develop from day-to-day types of scenarios where you have these flashes of anger, or flashes of guilt, or flashes of an emotional wound. So let me go ahead and run this, and we'll just look at some things real quick here.
Oh, 27.15. The coach is delighted. She's on her way to London.
Okay, so this young lady is very interesting because the level of confidence that she has coming into the competition floor is very high, but when she starts her maneuvers and her routine, there's something that becomes evident. So let's look at her real quick.
25.6 would take her into that fourth place over Romania's.
So her stance, her posture, and her technique are excellent. So when she gets moving, I'm very surprised to see what I'm seeing.
It's the best here. So she needs to keep focused, to keep control. Oh, and she's fumbled there.
Now she has a mistake, which is not really a big deal. Stuff happens, and so that's not what I'm looking at. Yes, it can affect her continuing performance. It can, break her confidence, etc. But I'm seeing something kind of pervasive with something a little deeper here. So let's continue.
Signs of nerves. Here sharp through the turns, and she's regaining her composure well. The stern strains.
Now it's her foot movements that kind of lead me to come to the conclusion that I'm coming to, which is I feel like she has an emotional wound. She's moving and articulating her movements in such a way that, to me, it's indicating a wound of some kind. And I don't know, I'd have to look at her and review like more footage of her to see if she consistently moves like this or not. If it's consistent, then yeah, working with her on a regular basis would be a good thing to kind of get at what that wound is and how to remove it. But it also could just be something that she's dealing with today, or maybe she had an argument with her coach. Maybe her mother or the coach or somebody said something that really, injured her on a deep emotional level. And it's just something that would take her just a little bit of time to get over with. A lot of these top athletes have counselors, therapists, and stuff like that deal with the emotional stuff that they deal with. So it may be something that she could alleviate. But she gets a high mark, and the commentator seems to appreciate what she's doing, and it is good. Her technique is good, but to me, there's a little bit of proficiency or more performance fluidity that I think she could get if she dealt with this issue, whether it's acute or historical. I don't know, but let's watch her some more.
Strauss.
And if you look at her foot movement and how she's articulating her legs, that's really where I'm seeing the issue. And that kind of leads me to believe that it is historical, that it was a wound that she probably suffered in childhood. And doing some inner being work on her inner child and her younger self would be good. That would get rid of this kind of immature type of thing that she's doing with her feet, because there's no, at her level, to me, there's no reason for her to have this immature presentation with her footwork.
Needs to keep her focus.
Oh, I'm sorry, but maybe you agree or don't agree, but there's an immature nature about her movements that could be cleared up, and it's my opinion that it's stemming from a wound of some kind. I don't think she's immature, and she probably is quite mature, quite she's perfectly fine, but there's something in certain movements that she has that indicates that there was a specific wound, and I'm seeing that in her movements here. And I'll show you some other performers so that you can see the difference.
She's really with it now. She's with the emotion of the music. Just a few seconds left, a big throw. Safely negotiated, but very, very perfect time. 25.6. She betters that.
Okay, let's look at this performer so that you can just get an idea of the difference.
She's been so consistent.
Another thing that I found these high-level performers is that they consistently present themselves in a warrior-like fashion, which I find very interesting.
19 years old she is, 21st, and the last World Championships. Well into 26s all the way through, and she's showing no signs of very quick through the illusion, lovely little flick off the foot.
So this particular performer, she shows well my point that a lot of these athletes come at it from a warrior's perspective, whether male or female. They're very warrior-like. They attack the performance, and that's very interesting to me. So.
The audience are loving it too. And these gymnasts perform with such confidence, it spreads through the arena.
Okay, so this performer, actually no, she's quite good. There's another performer. Let's see. Okay. So this performer I find very interesting because she presents herself as I think that there's anger in her performance, and because these athletes are very high level, they really can do anything. They really could do anything. So yeah, she's presenting herself as she's indicating some anger issues here. And because she's so proficient physically, she would be somebody, I don't want to say she's a psychopath, but in some way she's presenting like that because of how she's articulating her movements and what she's doing. She's doing it in such a way that indicates a high level of anger, but also that she doesn't really care about the results. So like if I were scouting for killers or whatever, she would probably be my first choice for to hire her as like a contract killer, because I think she could be good at it. So let's look at her performance.
So here we go. 102.9 was her final total, and she finished 9th place in this group. Really, when you see the strength.
So the way she's attacking this performance, she's doing it very perfunctorily, like let me get through this, let me get this done. There's a level of anger underneath it, and she doesn't really care what she's doing, I guess you can say.
In depth and quality performance, you consider to get into the top 24 in this World Championships is a real achievement. Competition so tight. And from Spain.
So I want to see her walk into the ring real quick so I can see how she presents herself.
years old, the first Christopher Lee took a meeting, 17 years old, the first time in the top 24. Now she's coached by another former great.
Yeah, she's very angry.
From Belarus, whose daughter's Julia was a two-time Olympian.
And there's a certain abandon that she has that can be reckless. So her performance kind of comes off as slightly reckless, even though she has great control and everything. The mental projection that she's putting into her movements has a reckless anger to it, and yeah, she could kill people. All right, that's good enough. If you want to comment or have questions or comments, just leave them below. All right, thanks. Bye.